It's kind of predictable. Okay. Okay, how can I say it differently? The hour being 7 o'clock, I'll call this meeting to order. If we could have the council lead us in the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, well, first up, we'll entertain a motion to approve the agenda.
Mayor,
Councilman Shuttrin.
I make a motion that we approve the agenda.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved by Councilman Shuttrin, seconded by Councilman Zimmerman. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, motion carries. Okay, we have three fairly long proclamations. So, here we go. Diaper Need Awareness Week. Whereas diaper need, the condition of not having a sufficient supply of clean diapers to ensure that infants and toddlers are clean, healthy, and dry, can adversely affect the health and well-being of infants, toddlers, and their families. And whereas national surveys report that 1 in 3 families struggles with diaper need and 48% of families delay changing a diaper to extend their supply. And whereas the average infant or toddlers go through 6 to 12 diapers each day during the 2 to 3 years they wear diapers. And whereas there are no government assistance programs for the purchase or provision of diapers. Therefore, purchasing enough diapers to keep an infant or toddler clean, dry, and healthy can consume 14% of a low-wage family's post-tax income, making it difficult to obtain a sufficient supply. And whereas the supply of diapers is generally an eligibility requirement for infants and toddlers to participate in child care programs and quality early education programs, and whereas the City of Green River is proud to be home to trusted community-based organizations, including the Community Diaper Bank of Southwest Wyoming, that recognize the importance of diapers in ensuring health and providing economic stability for families, and thus distribute diapers to families through various channels. And whereas these diaper banks and their staff and volunteers served on the front line of Green River's COVID-19 pandemic response, helping families in our communities weather the crisis. And whereas while experiencing double, triple, or greater increase in demand for diapers due to the pandemic and economic shutdown, these diaper banks did everything in their ability to increase diaper distribution and support for children and families in need of assistance. Now therefore be it resolved that I, Pete Russ, Mayor of the City of Green River, do hereby proclaim the week of September 21st through September 27th, 2020 as Diaper Need Awareness Week in the City of Green River, and thank the aforementioned diaper banks, their staff, the volunteers and donors for their courageous service during the crisis, and encourage the citizens of Green River to donate generously to diaper banks, diaper drives, and those organizations that collect and distribute diapers to those struggling with diaper need, so that all of Green River's children and families can thrive and reach their full potential. Is there anybody here that would like to address this, or?
Good evening, Mayor Russ, City Council. Thank you for letting us come and present to you again tonight. This is our 5th year celebrating National Diaper Need Awareness Week and just sharing the message that diapers are a necessity to babies in our community. And our distributors here, we want to thank the food bank in the City of Green River for everything you do to make these diapers available to the families in need. I just wanted you to know that last year we distributed about 76,000 diapers in Sweetwater County between the 2 distribution sites, and we couldn't do it without your generous support.
Very impressive. I'm going to hand this down to one of the councilmen in front. We want you to come up and take a picture so you can get the exposure for the... Thanks, Robert. And if there's somebody else that you pointed out, that should be up here too. Hang on a second there, guys, girls. Oh, I better. Thank you, guys. Is anybody here for Hunger Action Month? Okay. Well, you'll get 2 pictures taken then. Okay, whereas addressing the food insecurity needs of children, youth, men, women, seniors, active military, and veterans today is fundamental for the future of the city of Green River, and whereas hunger and poverty are issues of vital concern in the city of Green River, where the citizens are struggling with hunger, 1 in every 6 children do not know where their next meal will come from. 1 in every 6. Whereas the need for comprehensive, coordinated emergency food programs place upon our community a critical responsibility, and whereas the City of Green River is committed to combating hunger in every part of our community and providing additional resources that those in the City of Green River need, and whereas the Food Bank of Green River partners with Wyoming Food Bank of the Rockies, a member of the Feeding America nationwide network of food banks, and their local partners to educate people about the important role of hunger relief organizations, raising awareness for the need to devote more resources and attention to hunger and food insecurity issues. And whereas the Wyoming Food Bank of the Rockies provides over 12 million meals across Wyoming annually, and to engage each of us to help end hunger 1 meal at a time, either through donations, social media shares, or volunteer shifts. And whereas the month of September is designated Hunger Action Month in order to bring attention to food insecurity in our communities, now there be it resolved that I, Pete Russ, Mayor of Green River, do hereby proclaim September 2020 as Hunger Action Month and encourage all citizens to increase their understanding and awareness of food insecurity and how it impacts our nation, our state, the county, and our community. So tell us what your name is again.
Sweetwater County, and we operate 2 pantries. And, during this pandemic, it's been a real challenge. We've changed our method of distribution. We're back inside now, and our numbers are increased this time. Last distribution in Green River, we saw 119 families. A year ago, it was
There you go, Kathy. Thanks for all you do, Kathy. POW MIA Recognition Day. Is there anybody here for this? Very good. Whereas more than 72,583 Americans remain unaccounted for from World War II, 8,154 are unaccounted for from Korean War. More than 1,586 remain unaccounted for from the Vietnam War, 126 from the Cold War, and 6 from the Iraq theater, and other conflicts also remain unaccounted for. And whereas the number of missing or unaccounted for from Wyoming in all of those wars is at 210, whereas the families and friends of unaccounted for veterans, as well as countless fellow veterans and other Americans, still await recovery and identification of their remains, or, if determined unrecoverable, certainly regarding their fates. And whereas we will not forget these patriots who were willing to give their all to preserve and protect our freedom, whereas the City of Green River takes great pride in and endorses the national commitment to account as fully as possible for the Americans still missing from our nation's wars, and whereas the City of Green River calls on Congress to ensure that POW, MIAs, related government offices, and organizations receive the funding and personnel necessary to accomplish the principled mission of accounting for our missing veterans, thus signaling to nations around the world that America stands behind those who serve. Whereas the City of Green River will always stand firm with this pledge to those who are unaccounted for, never forgotten, their sacrifice, our mission, ever onward. Now therefore be it resolved that I, Pete Rust, Mayor of Green River, do hereby proclaim September 18, 2020 as POW MIA Recognition Day in the City of Green River in honor of all Americans captured, missing, and unaccounted for, and ask citizens to observe this day with the appropriate ceremonies. Thanks, Sherry. Okay, and I know there's somebody for this one because it's me. A proclamation of local disaster emergency invoking emergency powers in the City of Green River. Whereas Section 9-18 City of Green River Code of Ordinances authorizes the mayor to declare that a state of emergency exists in the City of Green River and invoke certain powers in aid of responding to and mitigating such state of emergency. And whereas the City of Green River has suffered from hurricane-force winds and heavy snow that occurred on September 8, 2020, Labor Day Winter Storm 2020, and whereas extensive damage was caused to public and private property, disruption of utility service, businesses and school closures, and endangerment of health and safety of the residents and visitors of the City of Green River presently exist, and whereas future long-term impacts from the damage associated with cleanup efforts are expected, and whereas all locally available public and private resources available to mitigate and alleviate the effects of this disaster may be insufficient to meet the needs of the situation, and whereas the City of Green River may be requesting emergency assistance from Sweetwater County, the state of Wyoming, and the federal government, and whereas it has been determined that the area of Green River should then be declared as a disaster area according to the laws of the state of Wyoming and the City of Green River ordinances, and further, that certain measures must be taken to ensure that the authorities will be unhampered in their efforts to maintain health and welfare, as well as an orderly flow of traffic, and further to protect the persons and property of the residents affected by the conditions. Now, therefore, the mayor of the City of Green River, Wyoming, has declared a local disaster, state of emergency on behalf of the City of Green River, and will execute for and on behalf of the City of Green River the expenditure of emergency funds from all available sources, the invoking of mutual aid agreements, and the requesting of assistance from the County of Sweetwater and the state of Wyoming. Go ahead, Larry.
Mayor, Council, thank you. Larry Erdman, Assistant Chief of the Fire Department. So, as we know, 2020 threw another challenge at us, which happened to be dubbed now, I believe, Wyocane 2020. So with that, after that busy night with all the emergency responders in the City of Green River, police, EMS, and fire, we spent the night up pretty much dealing with different disasters that were happening for individuals throughout the community. The next day, even though the city and most agencies had shut their doors down for the day due to lack of power and the snow that was happening. Many of the employees for the city went out and started doing windshield surveys and seeing what kind of damage was done throughout the community. So Wednesday was the first day really back to work for everybody, Wednesday morning, and that day we started up the incident management team to assess what the damage is, and we're continuing to do the assessments of the damages that were done to different various areas of the community, houses, private, public, all that kind of stuff. As we've learned in the past, FEMA, in order to get help from the federal government and different agencies, we have to go through their chain of commands of starting local. Every disaster starts local, so we started it here in Green River, and then we continued on. We let Judy from Sweetwater County Emergency Management know, Judy Roderick, and then she informed the state that there was a possibility that we was going to go ahead and declare a disaster to Green River. Fortunately for us, for Green River, the community, everybody in the community showed the resiliency that we have in this community and really banded together. City staff opened up the dump area over by the horse corrals or the rodeo arena, and just with the community working together with city staff, the disaster has been cleaned up very well. And so now it's turned out to where we can kind of consider this to be a good practice and tabletop exercise for us for any future disasters that might happen that could be big, like this one here was. So, any questions for me?
Any questions for Larry? Thanks, Larry.
What's that? Sorry.
You know, my only comment would be, well, we've had a great response. We're not quite done yet. You know, it's going to be a long, long time. And, you know, you could, just watching what's happened at the rodeo grounds and all the trees that are there, you still drive around. They're all over the place still. Even though the individual citizens and the businesses that jumped in, and we've gotten a lot of positive comments from a lot of people in the community that are appreciative of all the help that has gone on, but there's still a lot to do, certainly, and we certainly thank everybody that's jumped in and been positive and really helping out here. It's an amazing effort and very reflective, as Larry said, on our community and the resilience of it. So, okay, I was going to take a little break to let a couple people, but I'm not going to. Okay, presentations. Item A, employee recognition of service for retirees Linda Bunderman, Randy Koloff, Elaine Rich, and Ron Williams. Which, Chief, are you going to start us off?
Sure, I'll start off. If I could have Linda come up, stand beside me. Yep. Since the end of August, we've had kind of a dark spot in the police department. If you go up to our top floor, there's a kind of reception area where Linda's been ever since we've been in that building, and now the lights are off because she's not there. And that's symbolic of kind of how we feel. Linda's been with the department for many years. Started off with the city as kind of a fill-in admin assistant for a few different areas. And then we were able to sneak her over and convince her to come hang out with us at the PD full-time later on. I'd call her kind of our silent crime fighter, or quiet crime fighter over there. She worked a lot with Mont Meekum in her first years, and if you know Mont, he would be, you'd see him in the office at 4 a.m. and again at 8 o'clock the next night, and be there that entire time. And for the most part, he was just generating work for Linda the entire time that he was there. She was kind of our local computer on feet. Whenever a new name came up, we'd ask Linda if she remembers seeing it, and she would have the intelligence documented to know who was who and who they talked to and who they hung out with, and just really kept us going a lot on some of those big cases. We have cases that Mont would carry up to Cheyenne that were, ream paper boxes 2 or 3 at a time, just of data and investigative work that he did, and Linda was key in all of that. On top of that, she's been our smiling face every day, always willing to do whatever we asked her to do, and happy to do it and lighten the room and lighten the mood of everybody around. She shared a lot of good times and a few tough times, and always very thankful to have Linda with us. So I'm very thankful to have this opportunity to honor her service with us.
Thank you.
So are we going to recognize everybody at one time? Okay. Mark?
So, Mark Westensco, Public Works Director. Appreciate the opportunity to be with you tonight. I actually have 2 employees. I consider myself, I'm not going to get in a fight with the other department heads, but I consider myself a pretty lucky guy among the department heads. The Public Works staff is very experienced, knowledgeable. They've been with us a long time. They're very good at their jobs. They're very talented, and I am very fortunate to be able to work with them and to help them out in doing the work that they have to do. With such an experienced staff, I find myself having 2 employees who have retired. Ron Williams, who wasn't able to be here tonight, and Randy Koloff. We'll start with Ron. Ron started with Ron's been with us for 31 years and started off in the wastewater division and came on with the utilities division when they merged with water. For a long time, he was a lead operator in wastewater, and for the last few years, he's been instrumental in helping the city pursue their water meter changeout program. That's allowed us to get our water meters modernized and radio read and more efficient. Ron had an incredible attention to detail. And one of the things that I always appreciate about him, that Ron, there was a right way of doing things, and Ron wanted it done the right way. And I always appreciate about that, and he's very knowledgeable about the system. Now, Randy, on the other hand, he's a rookie. He was only with us for 39 years. And he spent the last, 24, 25, 26 as a street supervisor. Back when Randy started, I won't say that they did the streets with rakes or anything, but Randy's been here a long time and seen a lot. And I've come to rely on Randy a lot for his history, for his knowledge, for his experience. And, I asked around a little bit what people appreciate about Randy. He said Randy was a long time city employee. And not only did he care what council and their mission was, he cared about his employees, he cared about the department, he cared about the citizens. He wanted to make sure that they got the services that they deserved. Randy was responsible for snow plowing. I'm praying for very little snow this winter. We're going to have to figure out how to get through that. But street repairs and the like. So Randy's been very, very instrumental in keeping things moving around here, and I just appreciate him, and I'm going to miss him. So. Thank you.
Mayor and Council. Reed asked me to write a speech, and after about 30 pages, I figured I'd better just shorten it up a bit. All these employees have been great tonight, but I think you dearly saved, in my opinion, the best for last. Elaine's been with us for 29, 30 years. She's been in the finance department almost 25 of those 29 years, 30 years. I've had the luxury of being her supervisor for the past 20 or 18, 20 years, somewhere in there, however long I've been here. I don't know if she'll say that she has the luxury of being my employee by any means, but Elaine's been great. She has done and taken on a tremendous amount of jobs in finance. One of the things that they used to say is we change jobs a lot in finance because we like to move people around just for fun. And Elaine took that with stride every time. Sometimes she'd ask me why, what did I do wrong? And I said, nothing, I need a great employee in my spot. And Elaine has always taken that in stride and done a wonderful job for us. You sit and talk to the people in the other departments that have been here for a long time with Elaine, and there's nothing but accolades said about her, and I have the same opinion of Elaine. She's one of the most caring, wonderful people that's been here. In my opinion, I've seen her do things that are so compassionate that I just can't even fathom. And she's also had the toughest job, I think, in the city as the collections person on bad utility bills. So but she's one of the most compassionate people we've ever seen do that. Just recently, her squirrel is a little upset with her. She had a squirrel that she would help feed a little bit every day, and the squirrel's been a little upset with us lately because we're not feeding as timely as Elaine is. But overall, I can't say how blessed I am to have Elaine as be one of my employees. She's already missed, and I really truly hope her for the best for her future endeavors. She's told me some of the things she plans on doing, and I think her grandkids are going to be ultimately spoiled out of it, and I think that'll be a great thing. So with that, Elaine's turning over a tenure, but definitely not the end of an adventure, and she's welcome back for potlucks anytime, and that. So thank you very much, Elaine. Appreciate it. I know we're not supposed to hug, but her and I don't have COVID, so it's okay.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Thank you for allowing me to take a few minutes of your time to come and present to you our update from the Green River Chamber and Visitor Center. In front of you is lots of information that I shared with you guys this evening. This is due to not being able to join you the last quarter. So this information is a review as information that would have been presented last time and then this time also. So you got overloaded with goodness from the Green River Chamber and Visitor Center. So next time it won't be as much. So hopefully we don't have a delay in meeting. But this evening I'd like to share our year-to-date totals from August 2020 through year-to-date. We've mailed out 76 vacation and relocation packets, 10,099 brochures distributed locally, 7,888 walk-ins into the visitor center, and 440 convention bags distributed. Our brochures, walk-ins, and walk-ins as the end of July were about half of what they were the previous year, due to our current conditions that we're going through. The convention bags is probably down even more than that, more than half. So we've got that going, but we'll get you updated the next time for our year-to-end totals. In January, Mary Jane Record joined our Green River Chamber and Visitors staff in January. She is our new membership and customer service manager. We appreciate her very much. She is very friendly, very knowledgeable about our area. She's a transplant to our area, but loves Green River and Sweetwater County so much. So we're very appreciative of her and her family being here in Green River. 2020 was our leadership class. We had 14 participants we started out with, and then we had to shut down. So our class will be continued in 2021. We will can pick up in February. We had our orientation in January at the West Wyoming Community College, and then in February we did our first outing at Fremont Motors over in Rock Springs. We hosted a get-together there and some speakers, and so we look forward to partnering with the West Wyoming Community College and the Rock Springs Chamber with being able to do our leadership class and carry on with our 2-year class, I guess we'll call that one. We serving on the Census Committee for Census 2020. Lots of really good information shared out there, and if you haven't done your census, fill it out so we can get Green River counted in there. It's very important. In January, it was our lunch and learn presenters. We presented our chamber board for 2020, and High Desert Human Resources presented for us also. Lots of really good information. And in February, All West Communication presented and Wyoming Workforce Services. Then COVID hit, so we have not been able to have our lunch and learns, and hopefully shortly with when we're able to do so safely, we will continue on picking up with our lunch and learns. So looking forward to that. We have all of our presenters that were pretty much lined up for the year that didn't get to present. So looking forward to hearing from them in the when we can do safely. During the community support, we work remotely from April the 3rd to May 1st. These are a list of all the things that some of the things that we worked on where we working remotely. Constant contact campaigns where email blasts were set out, Facebook posts, Facebook promotional video highlighting local businesses. This was a job that Greg took on, our marketing person, and he was going to the different businesses that were wanting to do videos, and we were posting them on our social media. And it was a lot of fun to be able to see everybody's faces that we hadn't seen in a while. So and to let our community know that they were still they were still in business and looking forward to serving them. Support and spend local food and drink, local retail service promotion. We updated weekly, and it was email blasts on Facebook. This information was also updated Sweetwater County Task Force weekly. It was a huge project. It was spent most of our time working on during that time, contacting all the chamber businesses, the local businesses here in town. I've got another slide here down that'll show you all the information that was listed on there. Digital sign was with community information that was updated. Our phone lines were forwarded to our cell phones, so we picked up there was no missed phone calls. Mailed out our visitor relocation information packets. They were still asking for them, and so we gladly helped them out. We reopened the building back up to the public on May 18th. This is some of the promotional stuff that we emailed out and sent out, supporting locals, shop local, spend local. Some of the promotional stuff with the Sweetwater 311 information on webinars and conference calls and that we kept everybody abreast of. This is the local food and drink establishment ready to serve you for you and your family. The support and spend local, and then we had another one that had local retail and the food establishments on both, where they offered pickup, curbside, delivery, all that, and kept them up to date, their hours and everything. It was a big ordeal. And this was just one page of this document that was sent out, and then also shared with Sweetwater 311, so we could send it out to the community. Was another unique project we got to partner with Main Street with. Lamar Companies contacted us and said that they had a billboard that we could have for $280 for the month for COVID support. So a part called Jenny Melvin, and for less than $140 each for each group, we got a huge billboard to support our local neighborhood businesses. So that was wonderful, and thanks to Lamar, and thanks to Jenny for partnering with us to be able to help as much as we could and to be able to do that billboard. Memorial Hospital and Food Bank Community Drag 19 COVID main events. We had a lot of fun with both of these events. Radio Network was a big part of these, and also to Western Rhode Beverage, they donated Mountain Dews that we handed out when people are coming up to participate and donate. There's Irene Richardson's with Memorial Hospital. It was amazing. Thank you to the fire department and Castle Rock Ambulance that helped us out there. It was cold but fun. Like I said, it was amazing how many people turned, and how many cool vehicles that we have in our community that they pulled out of their garages and had all spit shine cleaned, and it was wonderful to see everybody. We hadn't seen it in a long time, just not to be able to hug them or anything, but to be able to wave to them and to actually see their faces. So it was great. Lots of my husband, he'll be mad that I have him in the photo on the presentation, but he helped. He wants a name tag that says he's voluntold, and he's great. I appreciate him. I couldn't do my job without him. I really couldn't. There's some of the community pride support that we did since we were closed, that we hung in the chamber and the visitor center windows. The staff and we had help from the community put these together for us. The one on the end where it says "Congrats Seniors 2020" has a list of all the seniors for 2020, the graduating class. Greg and his sister did that for us, so we appreciate them. Then we did our Distinguished Citizen Award for 2020 went to Harry Holler. Very deserving. It was great. It was wonderful. I was very sad that we couldn't do our annual awards banquet like we do to be able to honor our winners, but we did it the best way we could and being safe. And so this Distinguished Citizen, let's go back. 2020 Outstanding Business of the Year was Neldon Brady, Neldon's Custom Trim, Outstanding Business. Our 2019 Volunteer of the Years went to two wonderful ladies, Lydia Montoya and Shirley Mays. They, over 10 years, have helped us put our newsletter together and helped us with that. They have been incredible ladies, really have. We've enjoyed them. You could hear them laughing clear upstairs. They just had a good time doing it, and we appreciated them so much doing that for us. We couldn't do it without our volunteers, and they were we decided to honor them this year. Then again, we did, instead of cleanup day, we did cleanup week that we morphed into, June 13th to the 20th. Everybody picked up their bags and gloves and their bottled water and got assigned an area and went and picked up. And then we also had the shredding bins at the chamber too that community could drop off for shredding. Also, we didn't have the participation like we do usually in the past, but we were grateful for the ones who did helped us out with that event. Then we had our ribbon cuttings and open house. We had Serenity One Sanctuary, a new business in town. We had a fun time there, and the Hole in the Wall gang helping us out there. And then we celebrated a new location for Muley Fanatic to be able to expand into their new location. It was great. They had it was a wonderful night, a wonderful open house that they had. And then COVID hit, and then this was our first one we did with Baumgars and welcoming them our grand opening into our community. And so we've got as you can tell, we've got the face coverings on and stuff like that. It was wonderful and I'm very excited for them to be in our community. A big part. They've already helped us out with sponsorships and donations and stuff, so they're a great group of people. Then we did our K-Pac Pharmacy ribbon cutting too, so we were excited about to be able to celebrate them and their opening here in Green River. We appreciate them. This is a picture that was taken from our summer season with all the motorcycles that invaded the visitor center parking lot. It's amazing how even though they are traveling, people are they used to their social distance. They were all 6 feet apart, sometimes more than 6 feet apart. So it's amazing how many how packed the parking lot can get up there. We were very fortunate this summer to have two summer interns, Ashley Singh and Afton Spalding. This is our fourth year working with Workforce Services Business Enterprise Program. This is a wonderful program that they take high school kids here in town, and they're usually juniors, between their junior and senior year. And they were so wonderful. They got lots of customer service experience and marketing and event planning and that. So it was really exciting for them to get some job experience, and we look forward to seeing them do great and wonderful things. We did our Flags of Honor. It was our first annual. It was a wonderful event. Thanks to the fire department and the ambulance again for them coming and helping us out with that. The wonderful flag. Of course, we wanted to have a big opening ceremonies, but we couldn't, so we didn't advertise it or anything like that. We had a small group that was up there. The VFW, both American Legions and Rock Springs and Green River, helped us out with the color guard. It was a really nice event, opening ceremonies, and to be able to do that. So thanks to the city for allowing us to have that in that park, that event in that park. And then our next here is a video that Dave Johnson took for us for the. It's just a small piece of the video. So it was a wonderful event, and it was we got a lot of compliments. It happened on that 4th of July weekend, and a lot of visitors. We even had visitors that were coming in that day as we were setting up and complimenting us about that event. I was glad we were able to host it this year. Then our 2020 Modified River Festival. This was our 19th annual, and next year will be our 20th, and we're going to do it with a bang. That's for sure. No matter what. We hosted the duck race and the Run with the Horses Marathon Half and 10K. And we did the Flaunt Your Fish contest. These were 3 of the events that we knew that we could do safely within the current health orders that were at that time. And to be able to, the Flaunt Your Fish winners were Ace Hardware. Second place was Arnold Family Chiropractic Center, and Trona Valley was third. These people are serious, and they think about this all year long, how they're going to decorate their fish, and they do so amazing. This year's contest was held at the Visitor Center, so we had our voting on Facebook and at the Visitor Center both. And first and second place was 1 vote between them. It was a close contest for that. So we appreciate the local artists and businesses, individuals and businesses participating in this contest. And then our Run with the Horses, we had, it was amazing this year, it really was. It was extra special. We had 126 marathon runners come in from all over the United States. We normally have them come from out of the country, but not this year. So we were very happy. They were very appreciative that we were able to host the event. We are the only one in the state of Wyoming that hosted a full marathon, and they were very, very happy for them to be able to come and to participate. It was amazing. It really was. So we appreciate everybody that helped us out with all of our volunteers and the city allowing us to host it down there at the island and in our town of Green River. Thank you to all who bought duck race tickets and participated and volunteered. Tom Murphy came down and was there at 6:45, and he left at 2:00 in the afternoon. So thank him for handing out medals and setting up tents for us, and he even got in the river and retrieved our winning ducks. So we thank you, Tom, for doing that this year for us. We had a good time, and we were glad to be able to host and bring some tourism dollars, some heads in beds into our community when we really need it most. So it was nice to be able to. I know the restaurants did well with them coming in also. So we were grateful to be able to host that event. And then it was our duck race. We didn't sell as many duck race tickets because we normally sell a lot of our tickets on Friday evening when we were able to host that event. But we had some added bonuses. We had 2 people that were dressed up as ducks on the bank, and it says, so they were. It was great. It helped us get. It was a light moment. It was fun to see them to be able to participate in that. And then another project that we've worked on so far this year is we have 2 Facebook pages now. And the second one is Visit Green River, Wyoming. And we have all kinds of visitor information, event information that's happening that would pertain to someone that's visiting in our town. So be able to have the chamber page and a tourism page to be able to promote Green River. more and get our visitors. The visitors are here to be able to have them participate more. Some upcoming events. Our monthly member spotlight for September is the Window and Door Store. And you come up to the chamber and see the beautiful display that they have presented for us. Ribbon cuttings, we have lots of ribbon cuttings to catch up on. So on Tuesday the 22nd, we have 3. We have Commerce Bank at 10:30, Castle Rock Medical Center at 4, Peace of Mind Facial Rejuvenation at 5:30. Then on Thursday, September the 24th, we have the Green River Paw Spa at 5:30 and Hearts and Flowers at 6. We're going to be hosting 2 political forums, one for the City Council, one for School District number 2 in October. And then hopefully we're going to be able to host our 5th annual Holiday Business Showcase in November. And then Adopt a Tree, you'll be able to start adopting your tree November the 2nd. So thank you for your support, really appreciate it. Sorry for the long-winded presentation, but we've been doing lots and wanted to share that with you guys. And if you guys have any questions for me at this time.
Any questions or comments, Council?
Comments.
Go ahead.
I'd just like to thank you for all you do to ensure that the new business owners, tourists, and citizens all have a place to go for information, both locally and also thanks for taking the seat at the state level, so we kind of have a voice at the state level for the stuff that you're taking on there, the extra role. And thanks for working diligently and creatively thinking outside the box to keep Green River on the map. Appreciate all you do.
Thank you.
Thanks, Lisa. Okay, we're gonna take a short 1-minute recess. Thank you, guys. Okay, while everybody's gone, are there any citizens in the audience that aren't on the agenda that want to would like to approach the council? Okay. So we're only missing Galen, huh? Okay. If anything legal comes up, okay. Item 7, council action items. A, consideration to approve the certificate of state grant and aid to install wind cones and segmented circle.
Evening, Mayor, Council. Mark Westensco, Public Works Director. At last council meeting, we had an agenda item to provide some funding for improvements at the airport. And Chris mentioned that we were going to try to leverage that to see if we could get some more grant funds. About that same time, we were we'd gotten a call from Wyoming Aeronautics. This is near the end of their fiscal year. And at the end of their fiscal year, they try to identify small projects from their perspective that they can fund with whatever leftovers they have. And this is what they would consider a small project that is high priority for them. It's a safety project. It's a navigational aid. And they're proposing to the Wyoming Aeronautics Commission that they're actually presenting tomorrow to the Wyoming Aeronautics Commission to fund 90% of a project to install wind cones and segmented circle up at our airport. This is one that we've had on our list for years. Every year we prepare a capital improvement project list, submit it to them for funding opportunities. And you may remember the edge marker project that we did last year. That was a very similar project. At the end of the fiscal year, they came up with some funds. That project we were able to actually install in-house, and all of our direct expenses were reimbursed. So we were able to get that done for no cash. This one we're hoping we can do the same thing, in that when we go to finalize the design on this, as we're looking at it, we may be able to do this in-house. We just go buy the elements that we need, get those expenses reimbursed by the state, and perform the installation in-house. If we can't, we'll get a contractor, but the 10% match is something that you all set aside in the fund last council meeting, so we've got that in hand. And so the Wyoming Aeronautics Commission will review this tomorrow, and the staff will let us know when it's approved, and if they approve it, then we'll get her signed and get started.
Thanks, Mark. Any questions for Mark? Pretty straightforward. It's effectively what he's saying is it might cost us nothing. At most, it cost us $4,000. It's a pretty good deal for $36,000 worth of improvements. Okay, I'll entertain a motion.
Mayor,
Councilman Shuttrin.
I move to authorize the mayor to sign the certificate of state grant and aid form in the amount of $36,000 for the installation of wind cones and segmented circle, subject to approval by Wyoming Aeronautics Commission.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved by Councilman Shuttrin, seconded by Councilman Murphy. Is there any discussion?
Mayor, I have a comment.
Yes, Councilman.
The only reason I have this comment is so it's in the minutes, and that is that the cost to the city is $4,000.
That's correct.
Right. And I would do that all day long if I could trade $4,000 for $36,000.
Yeah,
So
and that's
it's good.
kind of the way that aeronautics works. If it's a safety improvement, they'll cover 90%. That's that important to them for the pilots who would be coming in from elsewhere.
And it could even be less. And aside from that, when you're spending that much money, there's people potentially in town. There's all kinds of other cost benefits to the city in this that begin to reduce that small number down even more so.
And one of the reasons I wanted to make that clear, even though I think you already said it in your presentation, is I received an email, and I suspect all of us here received an email in the effect that all the improvements that are being done at the airport we're paying for, which is not true. And so I just wanted to make it clear that this $36,000, if we get it, the cost, the most it would be is 10%, which would be $4,000. And so it's important that the public understands exactly how these dollars are being spent.
We are working very hard to leverage a small local investment to manifest itself as a big change on the ground. And we see that under how we've worked with the National Guard. They're actually coming back this weekend for another weekend drill. And going to finish what they started. And we've been able to leverage that. We've been able to get local businesses to contribute to those training opportunities. This is one that we could potentially have the National Guard do this. We don't know how the actual construction is going to come out yet. We haven't designed it yet, but this is one that we're seeking those partnerships that are going to leverage small local dollars to big on-the-ground improvements.
Right. And it's important that the citizens realize that the work that's being done up there, if I'm correct, is by the National Guard.
Well, the National Guard is continuing their training.
Right.
This one we don't know yet.
Right. I just wanted to bring that up to make sure that the citizens realize that no, we're not paying the money to take.
No, they're glad to come and get that training opportunity.
Okay, thank you, Mark. Is there any other comments from council? Seeing none, all in favor of the motion signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. How about a motion on the consent agenda?
Mayor,
Councilman Kilpack.
I make a motion that we accept the consent agenda.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved by Councilman Kilpack, seconded by Councilman Shuttrin. All in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Mr. City Administrator.
Thank you, Mayor, Council. Actually, I just wanted to thank our staff, both from our admin to our department heads to those working all across the city. For what we had to go through this last week, and we'll continue to go through. It was very interesting going through the drill that we did. It's still may not be a drill. I mean, in terms of setting up like an incident command and going through those steps and processes and getting all our department heads working together and communications working together and making sure we're sharing that information out as quickly and through the most channels that we can. We've had a lot of out of the box thinking, which is I really prescribe to, and I think sharing of resources across departments, and just coming together, working with residents and volunteers and other businesses to make sure they have a place to go and what they've done. So it's been as bad as the experience it was, it's been a good one, and we'll be able to continue to use moving forward. I think we've handled it well. We still need patience and support from citizens across, with what's out there. We're going to be dealing with that pile out in the rodeo grounds for quite some time. We will try to make the best use of it, just as we've worked with Trout Unlimited to do some bank stabilization projects along the river, which is going to save them, tens, if not hundreds, thousands of dollars on what they were looking to do. But it's been a good learning opportunity. I think it'll help us, as we face these challenges again. So I just wanted to say thanks to everybody at the city and the staff and council for what we've been able to do. Also, as you already mentioned, losing 4 people with collectively 115 years of experience is going to be hard. It's a testament to the work that they've done and being able to work for the city in a good organization to be on that long. We have a lot of other people who are 10, 15, 20 years plus as well. It's hard to lose that knowledge, but it's it's something that we continue. We'll continue to move forward, and just want to thank everybody, thank all those people for all the years of service they did. And next Tuesday we do have a workshop. We missed the one on the last week, but we're going to continue on the nuisance discussions, a little bit more on terms of abatement, how far we want, what we want to consider at that level. We'll talk about where they fall within the ordinance, and what it's going to cost to, as one of the goals that we had in terms of making Green River better. That was in those some of the goal aspects of what we wanted to accomplish. We just want to continue that discussion, alleys, weeds, nuisance properties, those kinds of things, just to make sure everyone's kind of on that same page and how we're going to continue moving forward with that. So that'll be next week, 6:30. It's been out. So that's all I have.
Thank you, Reed. Mr. City Attorney.
I have no report tonight, Your Honor.
Thank you, Galen. I'm going to start. I would just like to echo pretty much what Reed said. I want to thank the community, the local businesses, and the local individuals and staff, all of whom have gotten out into the community, helped each other, and done an amazing job of how far we've gotten so far in terms of the cleanup. It's just amazing how much we've gotten done in the period of time that we have, even though we do have a ways to go. And I also want to congratulate the 4 retirees. It's going to be tough to replace them. That's a lot of years worth of experience. You just don't replace people like that overnight. But I wish them all well. And finally, if anybody wants to join me delivering cookies to the city staff tomorrow, because we weren't able to have our barbecue because of all the disasters that we've had recently, we were going to have an employee barbecue, which was going to be difficult anyway because of the disasters involving COVID and how we were going to get food out to people properly. But so pizza is going to be delivered to the various departments, and one of our employees' wives has very generously baked a lot of cookies, and we're going to deliver those to the department sometime tomorrow. So if anybody would like to join me, they're certainly welcome. And that's it. Councilman Zimmerman.
Thank you, Mayor. I would also like to echo what Reed and Pete have said about our people. A situation like this, you become reflective. And I believe that we've seen how our people can band together and just grow stronger through it. So I just want to say that to join voices with the rest of the council and with the administrator. One quick update with Loves is I talked with the head general contractor out there, and they're making tremendous progress. They're about a month ahead. So instead of looking at February, they're looking at January. And I've mentioned something to Larry, and I'll mention it again. As soon as we can get something that looks like a finished store in there, I'm going to host all of you guys to take out there and do a walkthrough. And we'll get to see where all the hydrants are and see where all the hazards are. And so if you've been out that way, they're under roof. They've got to put windows in to get sealed up, but they want to get under roof and finished so that they can do all their interior work over the winter. So they're looking really good. So fry me up one of those Carl's Jr. Sorry, Robert. Fry me up one of those burgers. I want one of those things. So, and thank you again. Shop local and buy American, please. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Councilman. Councilman Shetron.
I guess I'd like to echo what everybody has said so far and thank all the first responders and the city employees for quick response and excellent communication throughout the storm and the cleanup. And thanks to Rocky Mountain Power for diligently working around the clock to restore the power. They stayed out there in all the different weather conditions. I worked for the place for 15 years. I know that when the power's out and the chips are down, you're there until it's back on. And in light of all the negativity in 2020 has generated, I'd like to say that watching everybody bond together and take care of things was kind of uplifting, really. I mean, watching what's going on with COVID and everything going on the national stage, this was kind of good to watch everybody come together and make things happen. And then I'd also like to thank all the employees, Linda, Randy, Elaine, and Ron for the combined service that they had. And whoever's left behind to fill those shoes, they're going to have big shoes to fill. That's all I have.
Thanks, Councilman Shetron. Councilman Kilpack.
I don't think it can be said any better than what all three of you have said, and so I echo that, but I just have one comment, and that is we can get stronger through adversity, and I think the city of Green River is getting stronger through this adversity, and my hat's off to the employees and the citizens. And it's not going unnoticed, so thank you for everything that you do, and that's all I have.
Good comments. Thank you, Councilman. Councilman Murphy.
I have to agree with everybody. Thanks for the 4 employees who gave so many years to the city. Thanks to all the city employees and the first responders all the way across the board. And I also like to thank the high school for allowing the 9/11 first responder ceremony they did for us. It was a lot of fun and very enjoyable to do that. And that's it.
Thank you, Councilman Murphy. Councilman Berg.
Really, after all of that, the only thing I can add is, a thank you to the citizens that stepped up and helped their senior citizen neighbors, the people that can't get out of their houses and couldn't go take care of some of the damage. One of those, I was going to send my son down to the house on the corner where there's a senior citizen that lives there. She's a widow, and by the time my son could get down there, there were 2 other neighbors already over there taking care of her yard. So, thank you to the citizens that did that.
Thanks, Councilman Berg. Go ahead, Councilman Zimmerman.
Well, I don't know how to take that comment, Robert, but I tell you what, I got home from work today and somebody had come in and cleaned up my yard. So I'm officially a senior citizen. Somebody, I don't know who it was, but they obviously thought I couldn't do it. So I don't know how to really take that, but you're right, Robert. Thank you.
Okay, we'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Mayor?
Councilman Shetron.
I'd like to make a motion we adjourn.
Second.
Okay, moved by Councilman Shetron, seconded by Councilman Berg. All in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? We're adjourned.